Robe is on location in Santos, Brazil, with lighting designer Erich Bertti. Erich, how do you know this fantastic location?
Well, this is my hometown. I was born in São Paulo, but on the next day I was already here. So I was raised here, I studied here. I lived in São Paulo for 11 years. Chasing out my success. I did college and then I came back straight away. This place called the Quebra-Mar, which is the breaking point for the waves and the surfers come in. It's one of my favorite places for sure. I come here quite often to draft some of my ideas. I bring my kids here to take a swim. So it's definitely a place that is it's imprinted in me, and I come here, I could say I come here every other day. So yeah, this is my spot.
Can you just tell us a little bit about that spectacular sculpture behind you?
Well, that sculpture is a Tomio Takie sculpture. It was an homage for the Oriental immigrants. So what is the most sensational thing for me is that when you stay under it, you can actually hear the ocean, you know, the sea, the waves. It kind of reflects on it. So I think it's like this useful piece of art, right? It's still like it's beautiful and artistic, but it has this other thing hidden in it, which you just like you know, can enjoy. So yeah.
We're going to take a little look back actually at how you started your career in lighting. And was there, you know, when early on when you were young, was there kind of a moment, was there something that made you start looking at lighting in particular?
Yeah, that's actually really funny. The story that comes for me with the passion for lighting is it happened right here behind us. So they had this big festival in '94. So I was 10 years old. And I saw all these trucks parking by this, you know, the beach. And I was with my dad and my mom just having a normal weekend by the beach. And my uncle Sergio, he's one of the legends in lighting here in South America. So he is the owner of LPL. And back in that day, it was just called Lucifer Lighting. And they were bringing in the structure to do this big festival. They had Inner Circle, they had Mr. Big, you know, names from that period. And it was something really new here for the city because it is a small city still. And I saw these trucks, you know, just coming into the avenue and parking, and the trussing being unloaded, and then the guys were all dressed in black and leather and they looked like rock stars. And my uncle was kind of the leader, you know, like big hair, like, and it kind of hit me really hard on that, you know. I thought like, wow, those guys are, you know, they're like an elite squad of some sort. And then they came in and they put all the trussing together and rigged. And then I remember asking my father to stay as long as possible in the beach because I really wanted to see, you know, the lights work. And by the time the stage, you know, was alive, I think that was mesmerizing, and that got me from day one. So I would say I fell in love with lighting when I was 10. In '98, that was my first gig, and it was the Oasis playing in São Paulo, and that was my first time running spots. And because I already spoke English, that was like, you know, like an edge that I had with the crew. And I remember that at that time, running the console was Danny Nolan. By the time the show was done, I climbed down the tower and I went to Danny straight up on the console, and I said, look, one day I'll be where you are, you know, I'll do a rock band. And he was like, for sure you will, kid, you know, life is great, it's long, you're gonna be fine. If you really want it, you'll make it.
And after that, what was your route to becoming a professional? You went to Sao Paulo to study.
I ended up needing to work to pay for the bills while I was doing university. So I started working with my brother in a venue called Via Funchal in São Paulo. And then I migrated through all the processes, you know, like dimmers and then rigging, and then first I was an overall just, you know, a hanger, and then moving light maintenance. I think that brought me not only the knowledge of the system itself, but the knowledge of the production and how important every part is.
Was there like a first big break or an opportunity that presented itself for your, to really take your lighting design career forward?
In 2007, we had like a corporative event on the IBM building, which is called the Project Bend-A-Loop. So they do a vertical ballet with rappel. And then my cousin at the time, who had the client, he didn't have anybody to design it and be on the console, and I, sure enough, was like, I can do this. And it was like 300 like high-level executives, but then is in such a big avenue in São Paulo that the traffic stopped for 1 hour, and it was like 4,000 people watching the show, and it was like a beautiful ballet display, and everything worked out, even with the rain.
You work across a broad cross-section of lighting genres. Obviously you do a lot of rock bands, a lot of music, corporates, industrials, special events and so on. Is that the way it tends to go in Brazil?
Yeah, I would say yes. I would say that versatility is the name of the game in Latin America. Too many bills to pay, country that it has a fluctuating economy. So one day you're doing corporate, next day you're doing theater, next day you're doing music. Like, you can't really choose your gigs. I feel that 90% of the business is sort of a jack of all trades. You do what you gotta do and you show up. So it is something that I take on the positive side. It is something that I feel like the industry, sometimes this guy is really good at what he does, but he wouldn't fit in any other production because those are perfect conditions for him, So that's where I think that the majority of the Latin lighting guys, it's that they're very versatile and they can just adapt themselves to any situation. So yeah, that's really good on us, I would say.
Do you have a favorite genre?
I do have a favorite genre, just like, Chorão is here, and the hardcore influences on the CD. I am a rock guy. I really like the rock industry. I feel like, since day one, when I saw the guys just like dressing black and coming in, the attitude of rock is what gets me, and how everything is just more natural. It's raw. It's there. That's just my way of trying to live. No masks, no pretends. I am a very physical man when I run my lights. I just like to tackle life in a rock style. So yeah, my favorite genre for sure is the rock industry, yeah.
We want to talk about a couple of highlights or memorable moments from your career, of which I'm sure there's many. Are there a couple you could share with us?
I think that, the highlights are always something personal, that affect you in a sense. Being in, big venues or being in big shows are always a thing that marks you. But I think that the whole experience on a personal level is what makes it, memorable. I think one was like 10 years ago or something like that. We had this Grand MA lighting design contest where you would make a 3D previs design that couldn't be unrealistic, but it could be like over the top. And then only 10 finalists would go to a proper console with a proper rig on a bar, and you'd have to either run your time code from your show, like cloning stuff, or you can just run manually, right? Sure enough, I ended up being one of the finalists, while I was just thinking that all the other projects was way better than mine. On the judges' seats, one of them was Danny Nolan, and I was super nervous to just be in front of many of my idols over there. And then the whole Latin America community, lighting community was there, people from Peru, Colombia, I ended up choosing like a Foo Fighters song, rock song, and I said I'll wing it. And then I programmed like for 30 minutes or so, and I went straight on. And I had a blast. I won, and I had like my own command wing, and Danny was super happy for me, and I was like, in heaven, and that was like, for me, it was the start of something. I was really like, okay, maybe I have the talent, maybe I am good, maybe I need to pursue this for real. And then the other one happened, like sort of closing this chapter, And then after all these years of evolution and inner knowledge, where you kind of say to yourself that this kind of things don't matter. I got nominated for the Parnelli last year. I think it was one of those things where you begin, and I mean, for me, to be just nominated with idols of mine, like guys like Rob Koenig, who's a big friend, and who won, and I was super happy, and I think that even if I had won, it wouldn't be fair. But just to be nominated amongst these legends, it just made me really feel good about myself and my work, that I'm doing things right, So yeah, those would be two different highlights.
Yeah.
But with the same level of emotional. I would say the recognition.
Yeah.
That is super important.